Hello, everybody, and welcome to another SATUYDAY night. Okay, Janie knows that one because Janie's maybe 10 years younger than me. So you
No,
remember it when you were like two or something. So it's all good. It's all good. Thank you everyone for being here. We are on Instagram, which I'm looking up here where my cell phone is. We're on Facebook and YouTube. And I have to tell you, uh, Janie is an international best-selling author, and you're in this book,
yes.
Transformations: the journey from breakdown to breakthrough. You think I should know my own title? From breakdown to breakthrough. I was trying to get you right here, which and your chapter is called "The Extraordinary Joy of Now," and you are also an author. Go ahead and show your book.
Okay.
Ta-da! The Akashic Records speak. Yes, there is more to life. You guys, I have to tell you, what a great book. What a great book. And so, Janie, you teach people the Akashic Records. You've been doing the Akashic Records, let me remember, since 2011.
Yep.
Excellent. So, tell people a little bit what got you started.
Well, thanks, Elias.
Yeah.
Really excited to be here. And I love talking about the records. It's my favorite thing in the world. Um, I had, she used to hate it. I would call her my oldest friend because I met her in third grade and she hated that. She said, longest friend, don't call me your
Longest
oldest
friend.
friend. So her name was Nancy, and we reconnected after high school back in 2001, maybe.
Okay.
And I was nowhere on my spiritual path. And she kind of started throwing out pebbles, as you know, people do that are wiser than you. And very long story short, she introduced me to the Akashic Records. She was the one who used to work in the records with me, then taught me how to access my records, and then taught me how to teach other people how to access their records. So she was instrumental. Just the way she lived made me kind of say, I want what she'll having, because she was just calm and didn't get ruffled with things. And so she's the one who taught me.
Awesome. So before we get started in all this, for someone who has heard the words Akashic Records, but doesn't really understand what they are, how would you explain them in a grounded, everyday way?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So that's one of the funny things about the records. First of all, the Akashic Records have a sense of humor. I had no idea about that until I got connected with them and really became involved with them, so to speak. So the Akashic Records, many people think of them as a library, which I have never experienced them as a library. I just want to be very clear. And when I teach my classes, I tell everyone, people think it's a library. I don't see them as a library. And then almost always a student will say, I went to a library. So they like to tease me and poke me. But the way they've explained themselves to me is, I think of them as a database of all the information that has happened for each person's soul. So I have Akashic Records, you have Akashic Records. Everything has Akashic Records: people, places, things, animals, rocks, trees. Everything has Akashic Records, which, because they have information in this database about their experience. So for people, it would have all the information of what our soul has gone through in every incarnation. It has information about what's happening in this lifetime. And the thing that I want to be really clear about is it's information on the possibilities of what can happen in the future. So the Akashic Records do not predict, but they say basically you have a really high probability of this happening if you choose to do that. But you have to choose that outcome. They will not say you're going to. So, for example, someone could eat pancakes for breakfast every day of the week. And if you ask what I'm going to have for breakfast tomorrow, the records will say there's a high potential you're going to have pancakes.
Right.
But you could wake up and decide to have oatmeal. So they do not predict, but they know us better than we do. So they're going to say there's a real high probability you're going to have pancakes because you have them all the time.
Understood.
Yeah.
Maria, hello. Delora, hello. Hope, hello. And Hind, hello. And Mo Rocks, hello. And Leticia, hello. Good to see you. Even though I said hi on Instagram. And CD10, hello. Thank you for being here. So Maria says a soul repository.
Love
So,
it.
I
Love
like
it.
And that's repository, everybody, not suppository. Just so we're clear. Just so we're clear.
And if Elias, if someone sees them as a library, that's absolutely fine. That's wonderful. I just have never experienced them that way. I want to be faster. I want a database where I go straight to that information. So
and they're different for everybody else.
Absolutely.
I mean, when I first got into the records, when I learned way back when, I saw it as like there was a blanket, like a blue blanket around me, kind of like that Virgin Mary blue color that was wrapped around, and that was kind of cool. And then it was like a gate that opened, and I heard little bells, and it was just and again,
I love it.
Speaking to me, right? Hello from Iowa. Thank you so much for being here. So yes, Chantel, do tell. I know it was you. I couldn't zoom into the picture, so I wanted to make sure. So thank you for being here on Instagram. Here's a couple questions. We're talking about the Akashic Records, everybody. If you don't know, and if you do know, awesome.
Yes.
So,
yes.
You describe the records in your book as loving, supportive, and deeply personal. What do you think people understood about them that they often misunderstand?
Well, again, that they are different for everyone. So they are going to relate to you in a different way they're going to relate to me, because there are certain words that resonate with you more, or the way they explain something to me is going to be different because it's so highly personal. So don't ever be afraid of connecting to the records. All they want is what's best for us. They are kind, loving, again, a sense of humor. Mine actually tease me a lot of times. I know that they are, if they had eyes, I feel the sense of rolling their eyes at me sometimes, like, come on, girlfriend, what is going on? I know that they are with me, they're very much, we know you're going to get this. All right, we shared this and you're still not doing it. We still love you and we'll hang in here though until you figure this out. So my mentor used to say, I like to kind of quote her. She says, having a conversation with the records is like sitting down for tea with a good friend who knows you better than you know you, because they know you've only experienced you in one lifetime. They've been with you through every lifetime. So true. Yeah, and they just want the best.
Hind has a question. She says, how do you connect to them?
Well, it's interesting because I do teach a class on how to connect to them. And I know that everyone can connect to them already themselves. It's just the reason we need a class is so that our brain allows us to think we can connect to the records. So many times when I teach a class, in fact, it just happened. I was in Florida in early May. And these two women, once we did the process, it's a energetic and kind of a prayer imagination that you do. And they said, oh my gosh, I've been working with the records. Once they felt it, they recognized they had that feeling before. So anyone can connect with their records. But again, that's why you take a class, is it's your brain that doesn't, it's like doing it intentionally versus hoping you connect in. Okay. Does that make sense?
Totally makes true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Michael from Iowa. Thank you for being here. Sarah, hello. Thank you for being here. So here's an interesting thing. So something I appreciate about your work is that it doesn't remove personal responsibility. As you said, the
Absolutely.
records may offer
Mhm.
wisdom, but
Mhm.
and we still have to choose differently.
Mhm.
Um, I kept feeling this theme in your book of you are supported, but you're not being controlled. That feels
Absolutely.
that feels really important. And and I love that part. I love that piece. And I think that there's a line of energy in the book around, let's see if I remember this correctly, around living in connection rather than fear. What does
Absolutely.
what does living in connection look like in real life, not just
Mhm.
spiritually, but day to day?
Right. Right. So living in connection to me means living in alignment with your soul or and in connection with the idea that we're all part of a big puzzle that I call it unity consciousness in the book. I mean, I don't just call it that. That's what a lot of people call it. So it's about understanding that we are part of the bigger puzzle of the whole world.
Mhm.
And that's being in connection, but it's also being in connection with your soul and what your soul is here to experience and what the universe is offering you. What are some of the suggestions the universe has for you? Because we're all here for a reason. I truly believe everyone, especially who is here on earth now, was chosen to be here and we volunteered to be here at this very critical time where the earth on energy is shifting, it's changing, the vibrations getting higher, and we all have part in that, even if it's just being here and sharing our energy with the world, much less being of service or helping people with their records or something like that. So that's being in connection, being in alignment with what your purpose is.
Right, right. Dolores saw your thing, not mine, it's on Janie's, and, it's when the air conditioning starts blowing that way.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
I didn't say anything, see? You heard it? There you go. Okay, just to make sure. She's cute. Diana has hello, thank you. I know I just said hello to you. Okay, so I want, without giving away too much of the book, without giving away too much of the book, I'm gonna share a little piece for everybody that I wrote down. Um, I love the Mount Shasta gate story because it's such a clear metaphor. How do you think we stop ourselves because we think the gate means the whole path is closed?
Exactly. Well, it's about not recognizing what power you have. So we all have personal power. And I find it very interesting because power is kind of a negative word in our society. Power implies um, ruling over someone or controlling someone, right? So we all say, I don't want power. That's, that's not for me. Well, it's about owning your own personal power and realizing that the choices that you make are creating your life as you're living it. So every day you wake up, you are in a place that you've gotten there because of the choices you have made. And so if you think for some reason that something can't happen, that's the gate, then you're just going to decide it can never happen and you won't even try. And the gist of the story is you can walk around the gate, over the gate, under the gate. Just because there's a gate there doesn't mean that stops you.
Right.
So it's someone may be telling you don't do that, you're not good enough, your circumstances aren't exactly right for you. You can either say, okay, sorry, I give up, or you can say, I'm going to figure out how to do this because this is what I really want to do. So it's about regaining your personal power and knowing that that's kind of the bad news. Good news is that the life we are living right now is a result of our choices. So the bad news is, sorry, honey, you got yourself here. But the good news is you can get yourself out. You can make different choices. And and go a different direction and have your life be one that's lovely and wonderful.
I love in the book, and this is going to give a little bit away, guys. So sorry. I love in the book where where the records, um, like we said, you started in 2011. The records said to you, "We've been waiting for you.
Yes.
So happy you're here. Welcome to the party." That became a turning point in your life and in your work, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Think about I mean, that's how I know it's personally for me, because that's the way I live my life. I mean, not that I live it as a party, but we kind of get to choose how we want our life to be. So do we want our life to be, I always ask students, choose what you want. For me, I think of my life as a amusement park. I want to ride every ride. I want to eat all the good food. I'm just going to have the best time while I'm here. So how perfect that they said, welcome to the party. It was, yay, come on, let's have a good time together. And we absolutely have. Some people want to go to a garden and experience every flower, or, really, that's what resonates with them. Choose how you want your life to be.
So here's, just because everyone knows about mediumship. Most people know about mediumship, and most people know about psychic information. How does the Akashic records, you can explain to everybody, how does that differ?
Well, so for me, and I'm taking experience from students as well, right? Because I have taught a lot of people and I've heard their experience. It's about asking a question. And when you're working with the records, it's really, and I hate to say working, I want to say connecting with the records. I don't call it work. When you connect with your records, you ask a question as an open-ended. You don't say, so should I take this job? And you get a yes or a no. That's not helpful, right?
Right.
Why should I take this? So instead you would say, would this be in my best interest for me to take this job? Or what would be the benefit of me taking this job versus what's the downside of me taking this job? Because every choice has repercussions, right? You're giving up something. So for me, I get knowing, I just have an idea of how it happens. And I see occasionally, I will actually see, especially when I'm working with past lives, that's how I can tell the past life. I see a woman, a man, what they're dressed like, and what era they're in. I can tell from that. But so again, mediumship is connecting with someone who's passed. This is just that wealth of information of you're saying, what would be best for me? Help me make a decision that my soul wants to do, right? Our soul is here. Our soul has our highest, that's what we're here to do, whatever our soul came to experience. So I want to know, what does my soul want to do? Doesn't mean I have to do it. Remember, you guys, you can get the message of go move to Timbuktu and give up everything. It's your choice. You don't have to do that, but your soul would really like that.
And it's interesting because don't you find that there's always an overlap?
Yes. Yes.
To me, that's what it feels like, that there's an overlap. And I know that you said, and I've learned this too, that the Akashic records are there's the all knowing, like it's the depths of our soul. It's like you said, woo, now we're in the ocean. Woo! That was a good one. So I think it's really about knowing how quickly
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. There we go. And then so it sounds like to me the Akashic records, the knowing of the soul and the depths of the soul from the beginning to all the way this way, right? And that's what it sounds to me. Okay, there we go.
Absolutely. Again, the records have been with your soul through all incarnations, which, Elias, do we want to talk about the fact that past lives are not really past lives? Everything is happening at once. Time is only on Earth. And that's the cool part, is working with the records. You can go back and find out what past life is affecting this life, and you can change that life because it's happening right now. So that was the part that just was like, until Nancy, my friend, did it with me. We went back and changed a life that had happened that was affecting this lifetime. And now I can't even remember what the issue was. We fixed it so well. We asked it to roll forward. I can't even remember what we fixed because it didn't happen then.
They're barking on the truth.
Yes.
So it's fascinating to me. I mean, we can go on and on, but we want to hear what your questions are.
Yes.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Do you guys have questions for Janie about? Show the book again, just so they can see it. The Akashic records we have. Okay, so Hind wants to know this. Hang on one second. Hind wants to know, how can you change a life?
Okay. So, for example, he went and looked at this life and saw what had happened. I do remember that my family had either abandoned me or done something to make me feel less than. They didn't protect me. They did something like that. So instead, we changed the narrative. She said, how do you want this lifetime to go? And I said, I would love it if they would step in, protect me from whatever my issue was that was making me feel abandoned. And so we did it because we were working in the records with the divine, and it's all happening simultaneously. And then we just asked for that energy to roll forward. So it's the neatest thing that we aren't limited by contracts, vows, karma, any of that. Those were made or done by our human part. Our soul and the divine are way more powerful. So if we ask for healing, fixing, that can all happen within the records, because just because we make a vow in a lifetime doesn't mean we have to honor that this time, because our soul is more powerful.
So just to give everybody a little idea here. So Hind's question was, how can you change a life? So what we're talking about is, as Janie was saying, let's say that you always, I'm going to mute you for a second. Let's just say you always were, oh, that's not a good idea. That's not a good example. Let me think of a good one. So let's say in a past life that you always questioned your authority, and you always looked for constant answers. And now bumping in this life, you know the answers, but you keep on asking everyone else for fear of being wrong, for fear of needing validation. And you want to then go into the records, go back to the life that started this pattern and reshape the pattern. Would that be correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And think about this. I've done this so many times, and every time, not every time, that's too dramatic. Many times I just think, really, because it's so cliche, but there are so many people that are afraid to step into their gifts, whatever it is, Reiki, intuitive, mediumship, any of it, because we've had a past life where we were killed for using our gifts. The old cliche witch getting hurt because of using our gifts. And I had asked my records, what deathbed vow did I ever make that's affecting this lifetime? And I went back and remembered saying, I will never, ever, ever use my gifts again, because I had gotten killed for using them. So imagine, as I'm taking Reiki and learning how to open the records of other people, I'm scared to do this, and I don't know why. in 2026, there's nothing to be afraid of in the United States, right? But, I was carrying that fear. And so many of us who are healers have had a lifetime that it ended horribly for us. And so we have to go back and say, for example, I have gone back with people and said, well, wouldn't it be neat if that person, instead of getting persecuted and killed, ended up being able to go out and find a group of people that treasured your gift, that supported your gift. And so we change, how do you want this to change? And we change it in that lifetime. And then the fear is gone because that never happened. They weren't killed during that lifetime or whatever one's affecting this one. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
And you guys, if you want to, so I don't forget, Janie's website is janiemac.com. And I, for some strange reason, Facebook wouldn't let me put it in, so I had to put it in this way, janiemac.com. But just
love it. Love it.
janiemac.com. So there you go. Dolores says that I heard someone say they referred to AI as Akashic intelligence instead of it as artificial. It's a collective intelligence. Love that.
That is, yes.
Hey, Stephanie, good to see you. Love your picture. That's awesome. Hope says, how do you quantify your records? Do some people have larger records than others?
That's a really good question. I would say they have to be different because some people have had more incarnations, right? Some people have done more in those incarnations. So there's no more information to keep track of, right? So if you have a lifetime where you just come in and you get up and eat and go to bed every day, that's your lifetime. That's not going to have as many records because there's not as much that happened as someone that went and explored the world and met all these people. And so, yeah, it's very individual for everybody. Very individual. That's a great question. I've never heard that before.
Very, very good. Thanks, Hope. Anyone else? Any questions that you guys have on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube? We are here for it. So how does somebody, do you still do sessions or are you just teaching?
No, I do sessions. I love doing sessions. And what I really love working with people, I love working with everybody. I love working with people that are saying, I really want to do this, but I'm too afraid. I really want to do this. Can I? I'm getting this, I have this dream, but some of my favorite sessions that I've had are with younger people, meaning in their early 20s. And they just in their heart want to go out and explore, and their parents want them to get married and have kids. And they're saying, I don't want to get married and have kids. How do I do what I really want to do? And that's about helping them regain connection with their power. And at the risk of sounding a little morbid, the records always have me say something like, when you're on your deathbed, do you want to look back and say, I'm really glad I let my mom keep me in Ohio and not do what I wanted to do? No, you're going to say, darn it, I wish I would have followed my impulse. I wish I would have followed my dream. We don't ever want to live with regrets. So the only thing the records ask us to not do, I think that's like a double negative. As long as we're not hurting someone else intentionally, everything else is fair game. There's no should, there's no can't, there's no must. You don't, whatever your soul is asking you, if you have a dream, if you have an idea, I want to be an actor, I want to be a astronaut, whatever it is, that's in your brain because that's in your possibility. We're never given a dream or an idea that cannot happen. However, that doesn't mean it's going to happen. You have to make the choices to get to that point. So let's just say you're born with this beautiful voice and it's in your potential to be one of the four tenors, or you guys probably don't remember them either. Anyway, a famous singer, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift had to choose to become Taylor Swift. She had to do what it took to get her there. it wasn't just going to happen. So we have to make the choices to make our dreams come true. And if you have a dream, it is in your possibilities. The records are 100% clear about that. 100% clear. They will never give you a dream that can't happen.
I love it.
You have to make the decisions, though.
I love it. Stephanie says, what is a telling sign of many lives? Stephanie, when you survive being hit by a tree, I think that is very much telling sign. No, but what
I love it.
What do you think a telling sign of many lives is?
I would say when you start your spiritual journey, if you've lived many lives, it's going to be probably deeper situations that you're dealing with. It's going to be more about wisdom and less about struggling with day-to-day things. Does that make sense? Because a younger soul is gonna, have different questions than an older soul. An older soul is more like, what's my purpose? Am I here for? Why am I afraid to tell people I do Reiki? But a younger soul is going to be, I'm not sure which job I want to take, or it's just kind of more day-to-day versus wisdom situations. Would you agree with that, Elias, from your experience?
100%, yes. Because older souls are all about purpose, all about what happens with this, and it's like this journey where a younger soul would be, what do I need to do today?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Chantel Dutel says, this is fascinating. It is fascinating. See where I take you guys? I take you to places that you would never know, because, Akashic Records is interesting. Here's the thing. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, with the work that I do, I think I tap in without even knowing that I tap in. Sometimes I'm like, where did that come from?
Yes.
Really good, right? And in the psychic work, you would call it claircognizance, that sense of knowing. But I think the knowing comes from the records.
Absolutely. Well, and again, I will state that I truly believe everyone can tap into their records and does tap into their records. They just don't realize where that information is coming from. And there are times, many people I know, and I know you'll say this has happened to you, Elias, something comes out of your mouth that you were not thinking. You're almost shocked when it comes out of your mouth. And that to me is when I'm connected to the records and I'm in a session, they give me the idea to explain this to the person, explain this in a way that you think is going to resonate with them. That I'm the interpreter, I like to say, right? So I'm not going to just tell someone, get off your ass and get moving, right? It's going to be, hey, the records suggest perhaps if you made some initiative in your life, things might be different, right? You have to present it in a way that's going to resonate and it's going to be helpful. And the records are never mean. That's my filter gets in there a little time, So, but even in just my personal life, I've said something to somebody that I just am like, where did that come from? And that's when I know that I'm being used. Of this person needs to hear this and they're just not getting it. Right. And so when I have to give a talk, I work for the Red Cross. And when I have to give a talk, I just ask the records to give me what that audience needs. Because there's a million ways I can take a talk. I can talk about statistics. I can talk about the different blood types. There's a million ways to go. So I just ask the records, what does this audience need to hear? And all of a sudden I'll find myself talking about a recipient story and why this, person was donating blood, or why this person needed blood. And I think, somebody out in the audience, that's going to resonate with them. They needed to hear it put that way. So if you've ever had that, just something pop out of your mouth, just know that's the records or probably maybe one of their guides that's using you to get a message to that person,
Right.
if that makes sense. I don't know if that even answered the question, but yeah.
No, it does. It does. Dolores says Janie's website says that she kissed the Blarney Stone. I want
Right.
to hear the story. You're cute, Delora. You're cute. So before we hear that story, so do you think the more lives you have lived, the more open you are to receive messages?
That depends. I think some people, the more lives they've lived, they can choose to come in and just be shut down because it's been pretty rough. And so they aren't open and they don't want to hear, they don't want to go anywhere near the fire, so to speak.
Mhm.
Other people that have lived more lives that realize that you guys all know this isn't real, right? What we're experiencing right now, I like to say it's a play that we're all involved in because, spoiler alert, we all leave here, right? No matter what your beliefs are, whether you're agnostic, atheist, Wiccan, anybody on this earth, we're all leaving. And so if you can choose how you're going to do this. And if you've had a rough time before, you may have a lifetime where it's like, I'm just taking it easy this time. I don't need to learn anything. I'm just here to have it be easier. And then other ones that are older souls that get it, that I'm here for an experience. Let's do the most I can. We jump in and say, okay, how can I milk this? How can I make this the best that it can be? So someone like Taylor Swift, she's living her dream. And the only difference between Taylor Swift and the rest of us is she did not let her head get in the way and tell her she couldn't do it.
Right. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Stephanie says it still feels so real. Yeah, being here does feel. Yeah, totally.
Yes. Yes. But that's what we came for. We came for this experience.
We did. If you want to tell the Blarney Stone story, you can. If not, it's all okay with you. It's all okay with me.
It's really easy. There's a castle in Blarney, Ireland, and the Blarney Stone, if you kiss it, it's supposed to give you the gift of gab, is the way they put it. And so I have kissed it twice, and I feel like that really has helped my communication skills. But it's you have to lie down, upside down, and kiss it. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know Ginger, our friend Ginger Herrick, Healing Heart Medium, she came back from Ireland and Scotland and she kissed the Blarney Stone. She breast cancer survivor, so she went up there and she had no problems and she leaned back and kissed the Blarney Stone, and then she came all the way down, and then right before she was like going to step onto the floor, she tripped and she's like, well, there goes that. So careful going up the stairs and everything down, but fascinating.
Yeah.
We're gonna have you come on again because we could talk more and more about the Akashic records. And guys, I'm gonna be starting the podcast again, and Janie will be on the podcast. We'll let you guys know when. Also, what's coming up is next week, Lisa Randall will be. I'm just gonna mute you, Janie. Lisa Randall will be on live with us next week talking about enhancing your skin and life with Pomifera. The weekend after that, June 20th, Lisa Nolan Shalowski will be on and we'll be talking about enhancing your life with intuition. Lisa Nolan and I are going to be doing the Stop the Pattern retreat weekend in Ohio. That's Ohio. That will be July 17th, 18th, and 19th in Berlin, Ohio. So go to the website, check it out if you want to do that. Also, let's see if I can do this properly. I think I can. We've got this to share. There it is. Okay. You guys are the first ones to see this, the very first ones to see it. So we got a new book cover. So as of right now, book 1 is out, book 2 is available, and book 3 We are looking for about 30 authors for book 3. Janie's going to be in it. I'm going to be in it. Delora, I don't know if you want to be. I think you said you're going to be in it. Chris is going to be in it. So we've got, hey, Pat Johnson. Good to see you, my friend. And we are looking for 30 authors to be in Limitless and Free. And if you see, it's a brand new book cover. I really, really like this book cover a lot. And this is about how did you go through your journey and how are you now sitting with being limitless and free? How did you get to that place? What got you there? Because in going within to heal, you went within. And you don't have to be part of all 3 books to be in here. And transformation, it was the breakdown, it was the journey from breakdown to breakthrough. And now that you broke through, what is like not stopping you? How is that story happening? Mo says it's funny that Ireland and the Blarney Stone are coming up as I am contemplating giving up everything and hopping a flight to Ireland. I love it, Mo. See it as a sign. Janie's giving you a thumbs up. See it as a sign. So we have that going on. And then also, guys, whoops, let me remove that. That's not what I wanted. I think it's here. I'm learning how to do these better, Janie. Here it is, Ohio, Berlin, Ohio. Come join us. We are going to have a blast with that. And I'm excited about it. And then also, I want to show you this, if I can add that there. This is a weekend experience. This is happening in August. It is about mediumship. It's about a workshop. And it's also about channeling and private sessions. So on Friday night, you will experience a 2-hour to 3-hour mediumship evening. The next day, we'll have Stop the Pattern. It's a mini workshop from 10 to 3. In the evening will be a channeling experience that I'll be doing. And then we'll be doing private sessions on Sunday. I have, I think there's 8 spots for that, 8 or 10 spots. I'm not sure. They're half-an-hour sessions. So you can get an exclusive weekend experience. There's 6 spots for coming to the whole gosh darn thing. Or if you're in the Iowa area and you want to come like Friday night and you want to come Saturday night, you could do that. You can mix and match whatever you want to do. But if you do the whole weekend experience, VIP, you will get a free intuitive session. You'll get lodging and your food and all the events. So that's what's happening. If you want to know more, it is go to eliaspatras.com under events, and we've got that. Let me remove that. Let me go back to us. Let me go over here. Deadline for submission. We are going to start in August, and it has to be turned into Maria. Maria's on here. It has to be turned into Maria by Maria. What did we say? Didn't we say? I think it has to be turned in by October 1st, I think is what we said. I'm not really, I don't remember 100%, but there's that. So Stephanie said more. Yes, more will be coming. Trust me, more will be coming. Janie, thank you so much. And again, hey, Rebecca. Let's put this on here again. It will be, let's see if it will let me do it. I hope it will. Okay. So if you want to, yes, we start 8/1. That's true. And Janie's website is janiemac.com. Again, that's janiemac.com. JANIE Mac, MAC.com. And Janie, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. We'll announce when you're going to come and we'll chitty chat on the podcast. And guys, I will be on tonight at 8 o'clock Pacific time, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern on the Tiki Talk if you want to come join me then. So thank you for being here. Share it with your friends. Tell people about Janie. Show the book one more time.
And I just want to say thanks, Elias. This is
You're
just
welcome.
my pleasure. I love talking about the records. And thanks to everybody for the great questions. Those were really good questions. Lots of fun.
They were very good. They were very, very good. Thanks, guys. And remember, we are here to connect. And when we connect, we educate. And when we educate, we grow. There is unity in community. From our hearts to yours. And remember, real talk gets real answers. Have a good night, everybody. And stay for the outro. All right. See you soon.